What does the new poll and other signals tell you?
32-point swing from Democrats to Republicans.
Do you think with all the drama surrounding this one, it will have more of an effect?
Joining me now is the man with all the answers. Mark, thank you for this new polling data.
We use polls to basically get a sentiment of how the American population or the electorate is viewing a particular person or an issue, but with a whole lot of caveats attached. Hi there, this is Mark Murray, Senior Political Editor at NBC News, and this is NBCU Academy. A poll is to judge public opinion on a whole host of matters, whether it's political opinion, opinion about business, about sports, finance, what have you. And it's supposed to be a representative sample of the population to get to see how they feel on an issue, if particular political candidates and figures are popular or not.
The president's approval rating has dropped to 42%.
We look at polls to actually see, is a race competitive? Who might end up be leading in a race? What kind of issue stance is more popular or less popular? There are different ways how polls are conducted. The first and the most obvious, and back to basics, is the telephone poll. And that is that you end up having a list. They are randomly dialed by somebody, and you end up getting their opinions. Another one is the online panel, that you end up assembling a group of 500 or 5,000 people to answer questions, and you use the online capabilities to be able to administer the poll. Then there's also now text-to-web polling, where you text somebody and say, hey, Mark Murray, would you like to join a poll? Click on this link and you'll get there. When you end up having a random poll, is you want to make sure that the poll's just not of Democrats, or just of men, or just of white women, and to be able to have as diverse of a sample as possible. So the idea is that you're actually getting a whole lot of different voices. And when you go into those numbers, you get different voices.
The new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll has Biden up by 10 nationally.
Our poll in 2020 ended up having Joe Biden leading the national vote by 10 percentage points.
Joe Biden is overperforming for Democrats from 4 years ago.
He ended up winning by 4.5 points. What we ended up finding was the actual electorate was whiter and older than our poll showed. So what we decided to do with our poll is to actually have certain kind of demographic targets to make sure that our poll in this election cycle kind of reflects what we think the electorate is going to be. Make sure that it is not have some of the same mistakes that we ended up having last time around. There are 5 key questions that we want to be able to answer when we're reporting on polls. Number 1, who ended up conducting the poll? Was it a reputable news organization, a reputable outlet, or somebody else? Number 2, did the poll findings confirm the conventional wisdom, or did they cut against the grain? Mainly, is this poll an outlier? Number 3, is this a national poll or a state poll? That is, what are we actually working with? Number 4, what are the dates, the sample size, and the margin of error? All important to be able to report when we're reporting on polls at NBC News. And then number 5, how was the poll conducted? Is it a telephone poll? Is it an online poll? Is it a mix of the two? But for us to kind of spell out how the poll was conducted. In politics, when we talk about political races, you often end up saying that a contest is outside of the margin of error or inside the margin of error. So when you end up seeing that there's on this poll, a margin of error plus or minus 5 percentage points, and say somebody's actually leading by 6, one really common mistake is people say, oh, it's 6 points, it's outside the margin of error. It's important to note that you have to double the margin of error, that it goes in both directions. It's a plus or minus. It needs to be greater than 10 points. I was pretty good in math in high school, but then I decided to skip my senior year of calculus and get in my high school journalism class, which kind of got me on the start to journalism. But political math is usually pretty simple. I don't need to be a physicist or have a PhD in mathematics to be able to do it. But I do like numbers, and I think that numbers help enrich the stories. To me, that's when the numbers of politics become so essential. I've seen a lot of surprises in American politics that cut against the polls, that cut against the conventional wisdom. And so I think sometimes it's just good to kind of go in with an open frame of mind, knowing that surprises can happen in American politics, and we don't know who wins a race or what party is ahead until all the votes have been counted.